Hello guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Just hope that you're doing fine wherever you are today. It's me again, Eugene Docu Stories, and here today I have an issue that I want to talk about. So give me some time. I'm gonna express myself, and then I'm gonna play you some clips that verifies one of the things that I'm going to say. So last week I received an email from my fan who also asked me to talk about racism, anti-blackness in the Arab ethnic community. So Arab is an ethnic community. And one thing that I want to say first, this video is not fighting about religion. Religion is out of this, because what I know about the Islam religion, it teaches against racism. So when you talk about racism, we are not talking about any religion in this video. So I wanted to make that clear first. So I'm going to talk about an ethnic community, Arabs. Again, I know it's not Arabs who are doing this. Some of them who are still ingrained in racist ways, that still do these things, discriminate, racially profile black people. So there's one thing that I want to say. When she asked me if I can talk about racism in the Arab world, I was like, okay, I don't dwell much into the Arab world, but then I tried to check online things that have been happening, and I found out that there have been racism against black people, especially from the Arabs. So I want us to watch this video. It's going to explain volumes and volumes and volumes. That's why I do disseminate this information. And I will ask you, if you have any topic that you want me to address, feel free to reach my email. I normally deal with them slowly by slowly. I also have a couple of emails of people's requests that I haven't dealt with them. So in case you sent me an email to talk about a given topic and I haven't touched about it, kindly give me time. I'm going to address it, because this message it was shared with me last week and I'm doing it today. So let's jump right into it. Then I'll come up with my commentary about this issue. Until then, let's meet on the other side.
I was hospitalized for nearly a week. It turned out my grandmother was putting household cleaner, I forgot the name of it, it was a while ago, in my food, mixing it in there. And it was making me sick. It was poisoning me. But even then, I didn't blame my grandmother. Even then, I didn't say, I didn't think that she was trying to kill me. I thought maybe she was old and she slipped up. And the hospital, since I was a foster kid, I was a street kid, I was a kid that no one wanted, they just assumed that I was trying to get high somehow. They didn't put two and two together. Of course, I didn't tell them anything either. So when I got out, I was shaky and I was weak. Man, I laid in the group home and I just recovered for a little while. And then, as usual, I got up and I ran away again. Like a lost fucking dog that was so desperate to get a pat on the head, I went back to my grandmother. Because again, it's hard to explain, man. I wanted to be loved. I wanted my family. My mother did so much horrible shit to me that I couldn't even contemplate it. And I wanted a mother figure in my life so bad. And my grandmother was the next thing. My mother looked a lot like my grandmother, so it was natural that I just kept coming back and coming back and coming back. And around this time, my uncle bought my grandmother a dog. It was a black Rottweiler. And of course, my grandmother, being the racist individual she was, she named that dog the N-word. My uncles and my aunts thought it was so fucking funny. They made all these damn jokes in my fucking face. They would call the dog, whose name was the N-word, and they would say the most racist jokes and apply that to the dog. Of course, I'm not going to repeat them here because TikTok will ban me. And I would look at them and I'm like, that I'm half black. And they would look back at me and they're like, your father was a piece of shit. Why do you even honor that blackness? And even though my father was a piece of shit, he was still my father. And I just wanted family. I told them that offended me because I am half black. And I remember my uncle laughed. He laughed really hard about that. He said, no, you're not half Arab. You're not half anything. You're just an N-word. And my grandmother and my aunts and my uncles, they just laughed it all up. Then remember my uncle picked me up and threw me outside and told me to go sit with the N-word dog. He told me that N-word dog is my family because we're both black. And that was the first time I really started to fight back. That was the first time that I attacked my uncle.
Subhanallah, it's very sad to see people who claim that they are Muslims, where they claim they are Muslims, where they are not. Fortunately, they are not. And Allah al-Musta'an, may Allah guide them to the truth. May Allah bring them back to Islam. Because unfortunately, they think that they are in Islam, where they are away from Islam. Our Prophet, peace be upon him, told us 1400 years ago, there will be a time a man will lay down in his couch like his so-called Elijah Muhammad and will say, we accept whatever being revealed in the Quran, and we don't accept what is the Sunnah. And then the Prophet, peace be upon him, he said, by Allah, Allah has revealed to me the book, and similar to the book, which is the wisdom of Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, which Allah has inspired him. And yet, those people, they say, there is no wisdom, there is no hadith, and that's what they wanted to reach. And that's why, my brothers and sisters, those people, they are away from Islam. May Allah guide them. May Allah guide them to Islam. May Allah guide them to Islam. But they are a disbeliever. And if they greeted us with Assalamu alaikum, we respond to alaikum, as our Prophet, peace be upon him, told us, and told us how to deal with the disbeliever. May Allah guide them. Wallah al-Musta'an. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
I cannot stand the fact that we give a certain front and a certain persona that we are practicing, you know, that we are this way, you know, within the community, and yet, you know, we'll say to our daughters, come home, you know, come home with a proposal, just make sure it's not a black man, just make sure it's not a black brother, yeah?
And I cannot stand the fact that we give a certain front and a certain persona that we are practicing, you know, that we are this way, you know, within the community, and yet, you know, we'll say to our daughters, come home, you know, come home with a proposal, just make sure it's not a black man, just make sure it's not a black brother, yeah?
جاهزة سابقين جاهزة 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 سابقين جاهزة 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 جاهزة.
تجاهل البنت السمراء تماما، نط عليها كأنها مش موجودة.
I have a question for you. Are you Muslim first or are you black first? What do you think?
Muslim first and black first?
Yeah. Which one are you?
Wallahi, I'm a Muslim first.
Okay, can I see your hand?
Yeah.
Give me your hand. What color is this?
Black.
So why are you not black first? Did you choose to be black?
No.
Did you choose to be Muslim? Yes.
I born for Muslim.
No, you can leave the deen at any time, but you can't leave your race at any time. Plus, these non-black Muslim people don't like you. Let's remember that first. Look at the skin. They don't like you. Yes, they will try to support you because you're Muslim, but when it comes to racial issues, they will not stand up for you. That's why you have to put your black people first. Always. Because at the end of the day, you black first. Yes. I'm always put my black people first. I'm sorry, Muslim community. I'm sorry, Muslim community, but my black people come first, and that's a fact. I'm sorry. Yeah. Yeah, I asked you. Yeah. When people ask me, what are you? I don't answer Muslim first. I say, yeah, I'm black. And I don't like when, because you know why I'm asking you this question? Yeah. Because there was this time where there was a protest, I forgot what protest it was for, but I posted on my Snapchat, and me and this Indian guy, I don't remember what part of India he was from. He might be Indian or he might be Pakistani. I don't know. I forgot, to be honest. But I posted the protest and we were arguing about it. And he was more focused on the destruction of property than the person who lost their life. He was like, oh, why are these people protesting? You guys are going to ruin our city. Da, da, da. And I was like, you know what? Buildings and companies could be rebuilt, but this person will never get their life back. So stop focusing on the wrong issue, right? And then this man continued to argue with me and be like, you're so focused on black issues. You're Muslim first. Have faith in Allah first. And I said, no, I'm black first. I'm not Muslim first. And I said, Markektan, Dawdi iska sigili, and I blocked him. I blocked him. So that made me mad. And I don't like when people, let me finish, I don't like when people ask me those questions because I'm always say I'm black first. And whenever anybody asks me what I am, I'm going to say black first. Yes, I'm Muslim, but look at the color of my skin. I'm black and I'm proud. Go ahead. I'm sorry. This makes me mad.
waxaa jira wax lagu abuuray oo ilaahay inuu jiro og yahay ama muslim ah ama christian ah belief wax la dhahay jiro inkastoo aan diinta saas u aqoon ilaahay qafuur raxiim qof walba inuu ilaahay jiro uu aaminsan yahay muslina tahay first
marka diidin but
laakiin marka ay dhahdo oh okay what race you first marka ay dhahdo it's different question.
No, people try to pin the Muslim community against the black community. Honestly, I'm really tired of it. The Muslim community is so anti-black and it's ridiculous. The whole world is anti-black. It's not just the Muslim community. But...
Listen, إلهي قفور رحينك أقفر بالحساب تمايو.
Yeah.
إلهي قفور بمعنى.
Why do Arabs hate black people? I was asked that question. Arabs don't hate black people. Newsflash. Okay, our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, his imam was a black guy named Bilal. So they have nothing against the black race. It's just majority of Arabs or Muslims that dislike black people have either been wronged by them or like some way wronged or have heard stories of multiple people being wronged or like taken advantage of or murdered or something by that race. So they hold a grudge against that race particularly, but not all Arabs hate black people. It's against our religion to like discriminate against skin color, especially since there are a lot of black Muslims and we don't judge about them. So it's majority of whenever Arabic people are like cautious about black people, it's either because something happened or they just heard a story. For example, 9/11, how do most people compare Arabs or associate Arabs? That's a perfect example.
Words come out, and I speak Arabic, and I know that the word abd, meaning slave, is used in many Arabic vernaculars to describe African people, or zinji, or takruni, or zift, or whatever it may be. And in Somali too, adon, which is used to describe the Bantu Africans. Okay, so these attitudes coming in, looking down on black people, making people of color.
Why do Arabs discriminate black people? Thank you for your question. Those people you talk about, they are not Arabs. These are the real Arabs. The people you talk about are not Arabs. They are invaders who hypocritically pose like Arabs to get power. Why I spend time talking about these invaders is because Shaitan creates deception. The Shaitan wants African people to believe that Arabs are against them. That way you will leave Islam and become pagans. But these are the real Arabs. They are black. Look how beautiful this is. This is the real niqab. It's traditional desert dressing. Then the munafiqun took this and used it to oppress women. Black Arabs are in Sahara and Sahel.
If you are a Muslim who responds to conversations about anti-black racism in the Muslim community with comments like this about, well, racism is haram. It is outlawed in the Quran. The Prophet didn't allow it. So therefore, racism does not exist in our communities. You are outing yourself as one of either two things. One, you either have incredibly low critical thinking skills and are not able to have this kind of conversation until you go and work on critical thinking skills in general. Or two, you are indirectly outing yourself as someone who has very deep-seated anti-black racism within you. Let's take this kind of reasoning and apply it to other things that are also haram or forbidden for any non-Muslims watching. Haram just means forbidden. Let's apply this to other things that are haram in Islam. Islam does not allow us to lie. Does that mean that no Muslims lie? Of course not. Islam does not allow us to steal from other people. Does that mean that there are no Muslims who steal? Of course not. Murder is not allowed in Islam. Does that mean that there are no Muslims who commit murder? Of course not. drinking alcohol is not acceptable in Islam. But does that mean that there are Muslims who drink alcohol? Of course there are. And on and on. There's literally a million examples we can pull from. And all of this goes back to the point being is that just because Islam, the religion, the Prophet, peace be upon him, the Quran explicitly say to do not do this, this is not allowed, that means literally nothing for what people's actual behaviors are. If you are a Muslim, when you come into contact with conversations around anti-black racism within the Muslim community to other Muslims, this isn't even how non-black Muslims treat black people in general, but your siblings in faith. If in response to conversations like that, your response is something like this, a deflection, you either do not have the critical thinking skills necessary for this conversation, or you are admitting to having ingrained anti-black racism within your heart. And that anti-black racism is absolutely haram, completely. So if you really believe in Allah, in the Prophet, peace be upon him, the Quran, and you really stand by being Muslim, I would work on that.
As I said earlier, even the Islam religion, because I know a majority of Arabs are Islams, so a person who asked the question, why is a person discriminating against black people, and that the Islam teaches people not to discriminate people? There is two things that happens. We have the Islam nation and the Islam religion. I'm talking about the Islam nation includes the Arabs, So the Arab nation these are people who believe that they should not engage with black people, They should not engage with, they're taught not to engage with black people. Of course, I know this is not done by all Arabs, but there are a group of people who still does this. And so the racism even against black Arabs, against themselves, because we have mixed people, and then we add a population, racism was something which was so crazy. And of course, we have black people. That's why we say that black people have always been dispersed to every part of the world. So here with me, I have a presentation that is going to talk about this issue. So I want to talk about this thing, right? Because this is something that we need to talk about. And I believe it's important to address these issues. In recent years, discussions surrounding anti-blackness within the Islamic nation have gained momentum, shedding light on complex issues often overlooked. While Islam preaches equality and brotherhood among all believers, the reality for many black Muslims reveals a stark contrast. Anti-blackness, deeply entrenched in historical, cultural, and societal frameworks, manifests in various forms. Historically, the roots of anti-blackness within Islamic societies trace back to pre-Islamic Arabia. That's why you ask yourself, because if you have a lot of Arabs who are Islams, a person will ask themselves, why are they doing this? And yet, we have still some of them who are black, because even black Muslims also complain that they are receiving racial profile from other people who come from the same religion. And I'll ask you, even we as Christians, we have people who are Christians, but yet they still they racially profile people, So it has nothing to do with religion, and I'll make it clear again. It has nothing to do with religion. All I'm asking is, let's see each other like our brothers and sisters and black people across the world. Whether you are Islam, whether you are Christian, wherever you are, one thing that remains at hand is the unity of black person. The black person, the only asset that the black person has, it's unity. And I won't stop telling you this. And I'll be telling you this every time, because discrimination is real. People who have been racially profiled by their own members of family just because they are black, especially when you are in those households and you're a black person, majority of the time you'll feel like you are outside. The intersectionality of race and religion complicates the discourse of anti-blackness within Islamic nation. While Islam preaches equality, Cultural interpretation and practices often deviate from these message teachings. Black Muslims often face marginalization within religious spaces, experiencing discrimination in mosques, educational institutions, and even marriage prospects. The erasure of black contribution to Islamic history and scholarship further reinforces a narrative of inferiority, perpetuating systemic discrimination. It's just so that black man with that Arab woman, and she said that I'm Muslim. While there's one thing she never understood, because she goes against the teachings of Quran. I'm not a Muslim, but that's according to Quran. Quran doesn't support discrimination. While you heard her saying that I'm Muslim, my family will. She said it. I'm not the one who said it. You can play back the video and you'll see it for yourself. She said it. So this means that some people are still racially ingrained. They have some things that they do to black people. So it doesn't matter whether you share the same religion. If you're a black person, you need to know that you still have a long way to go when it comes to discrimination. And that's why I always say that everything that we need is just unity amongst ourselves. We need to practice unity amongst ourselves. You see a black person, look at beyond religion, because we have great people from the Islamic nation like Khalid Muhammad. We have Louis Farrakhan. These are people who have supported us. The black community, they have stood with black people, they have shown interest, and they have fought for the civil rights movements. Khalid Muhammad, Abdul Muhammad, Louis Farrakhan, and the list is long. The black Islams who fought for us. So this thing is beyond religion, you know, and time has proven it that it is beyond religion. Also, something that I would like to address is anti-blackness within Islamic societies intersect within other forms of oppression, such as gender and class. Black women, in particular, face compounded discrimination, navigating intersecting identities that render them doubtly marginalized. Economic disparities exacerbates these inequalities within the black community, often facing socioeconomic hardships due to structural barriers and limited opportunities for upward mobility. If you are black and you want something, you are being looked down upon. I mean, look at Africans who have went to Saudi Arabia. You've known the treatment. You saw those crazy clips, people being thrown, you know, from skyscrapers and all those things. You know, those are crazy graphics that I might not even want to play in this video. And you know, there's so much strong hate and the anti-blackness, the passion that some of them have about this. And you know, I'm not ignorant. I understand that it is not all Arab people who does this. It is not all of them. There's a group of people who are still ingrained by the oppression that their colonizers left them with, and they're trying to pass this thing down to other people, to their kids, to their families, to people who are still saying this, you know. So we need to move far much beyond religion, and even within the Arab ethnicity, we have good people within them, people who understand, people who have practiced Islamic religion, people who understand what is called humanity, something which is beyond religion, beyond color, beyond race. I'm just seeing you as a human being and not as a black person or as a brown person or as a white person. I will also add this, addressing anti-blackness within the Islamic nation requires a multi-faced approach encompassing education, advocacy, and policy reforms. It necessitates challenging ingrained prejudices, fostering dialogue within the religious institutions, amplifying the voices of marginalized communities, efforts to reclaim black narratives within the Islamic history, and scholarship are crucial in challenging dominant narrative and fostering a sense of belonging for all believers. So that was my take on this, and I wanted to spread unity. If you're a black person, you're seeing a black person maybe of a different religion, just know that he is your brother. He is your brother, and you're fighting against this anti-blackness. And I've been moving along from Latinos, from white people generally, receiving some requests to talk about the Arabs who also does this to black people, you know. So tell me what you think about this in the comment section. If you have any inquiries, if you have something to ask, if you want something that you want me to address, kindly always reach me through my email and I'll be happy to engage you. Until then, let's meet in my next video. Peace, love, and harmony. Salute.